Hello Bookish friends, today I'm here with another tag video. This tag is called Second Tome Around tag and it's all about second-hand books. This tag was originally created by Julie at Hungry Bookworm and I was tagged by Julie. Thank you Julie for tagging me. It's been such a long time since I have thought about second-hand books and it really made me evaluate what I can do to read more second-hand books. So let's get on with the questions. The first question is, do you buy second-hand books? I do not buy second-hand books, not as much today, because I mostly read e-books and there are no second-hand shopping for e-books, of course. But before online purchasing, during high school and university years, I used to buy and sell second-hand books all the time, and I read most of my young adult years reading second-hand books, either from the library or the ones that I bought. I'm very used to second-hand reading, but as for the answer to this question, I do not buy second-hand books very frequently right now. What is or was your latest purchase? Since I have not bought second-hand books for such a long time, I really do not remember the one that I bought. But this is definitely a second-hand book. I got this book from my grandmother's library, who passed away in the beginning of this year. So it is definitely a second-hand book. The book is called Eldivenler Hikayeler by Murathan Mungan. It can be translated as Mittens Stories. It's a collection of short stories by the author. I did not read this book, but I'm very eager to read it as soon as possible. The third question is, what condition do you find acceptable? In example, tatty or not tatty. I do not know what tatty means, but I'm going to describe my acceptable condition. As long as it's readable and it's fairly clean, it is acceptable for me. However, if there are too many underlined sentences, I find it very hard to read. Recently, I gathered a hotel on the corner of Peter and Sweet from the library, and one other previous user had underlined the sentences that he or she liked, and I really struggled with trying not to concentrate on those sentences. For me, they were ordinary sentences, but maybe it moved him or her, I don't know. I thought it was rude to do this to a library book that would be read by other people. Fourth question is, after you have read said book, do you keep it for reread or redonate it? I usually donate it because I'm not a rereader. I only reread books if they are an absolute favorite of mine. And I'm not a book hoarder as well, unless I want to reread that book. So I donate books very frequently. About, I think, 8 or 9 years ago, we did a very big donation of books to a charity that was meant for educating the girls, and my parents and I think gathered like 3 boxes of books, and it felt really good to know that they would be used for educational purposes, especially the education of girls, which is a very sensitive subject for me, especially in Turkey. So I like donating books very much. Number 5. Do you have a favorite place you like to go to when looking for second-hand books? There is a second-hand bookshop which is probably as old as me, like 40 or 50 years, which was recommended by my uncle actually. He said, Berna, you like reading books so much, and there's a friend of mine who has a second-hand bookshop, why don't you go there? I went there, and I traded books and bought books from him. for almost continuously for almost 10 years. And even though I do not buy books as much as I've said in the first questions, I visit him sometimes, and now his son is managing the bookstore, but it is a very precious store for me. Sixth question: hardback or paperback? Do you have a preference? Definitely paperback, because it is easier for me to read it and hold it in my hands, because my hands are actually very small. I mostly read during my commute to work, so I need to read a book that is manageable and easy to hold in my hand. So hardbacks are really hard for that purpose. Question 7. Have you found any real gems? I'm going to go to a time when I was doing my master's thesis, and there was a book that I was looking for, which was very important for my thesis subject, which was shelters after disasters, and I was looking for that book, and I found that book secondhand but online. And at that time my brother and my sister-in-law were living in the USA, and I found the book at Amazon, and there was no delivery from Amazon to Turkey at that time, and I ordered the book, sent it to their address. My sister-in-law parents were visiting them, and they brought the book to me. This book, this one, Reconstruction After Disasters, which covers many different aspects of reconstructing after disasters, the technical, the social, the economical aspects of it, and I used it a lot in my master thesis. And since I'm still doing disaster work, it is a reference book that is very important to me. It's a hidden gem. Number 8. Find a book from your shelves that you can donate to a good cause or your local charity or goodwill shops. I think I'm going to donate a book that I read very recently, Aşkın, Yüzyılı Elizabeth by Selmina, Melikoğlu. We read this for our book club. It is a good book. It tells the life story of a Russian woman coming to Turkey in her later years. I like the book, but not enough to give it a reread, so I'm going to donate this book. Although it has a very pretty cover, I think somebody else will like it much more. The last part is actually tagging some people. I'm going to tag 4 booktubers. Elizabeth from LizziefayeLovesBooks, Roxanne from Rox Is Reading, Tara from Mama Kennon Reads, and lastly I'm tagging BookNerdTv. I could not find her name, but she does very comprehensive reviews, and I really like her channel. And there is a tagline that I really enjoy in her channel: there is always time for reading. So that was my answers for second Tom's Around book tag. Although I tagged 4 booktubers, if you are a reader of second-hand books, consider yourselves tagged. I would like to hear all your answers. Please comment down below. Did your second-hand shopping decreased significantly after online shopping, or you still buy second-hand books? What conditions do you find acceptable? And any questions that you would like to answer. And also please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. Since this tag was all about second-hand books, I thought the word of the day should be two words: second-hand. Second-hand means ikinci el in Turkish, and ikinci el are Turkish words of the day. Have a good day.